everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Terry Ryan. This is my channel devoted to things we go through life and also to promote my book, which is I Survived Domestic Violence and Stalking. If anybody would like to purchase a copy of this, you can go to my website, which is terry-ryan.com. If you go to that site, there is a selling tool on it. You can buy a book there. You can also contact me through my Facebook page, which is Terry Ryan Author. Send me an inbox and I can arrange that with $3.40 extra for postage. Or you can go on to Amazon, America, Mexico or Canada. You can purchase a copy that way. The book is still at $20 and it's my little book of triumph and survival. In this book I have been going through items where at the back of the book I not only wrote the story about my journey through this trauma of domestic violence and being stalked for many years. I wrote my story about it in the front section, and in the back section I wrote itemised form of things that I learnt by going through the experience, which I thought may be of benefit to anybody else going through the same experience, and just to think about these and to put them in practice, which helped me be able to overcome the experience and also appreciate the experience of what I went through, just to learn things that I needed to know about my own nature. I was a very insecure person. I needed to learn so much about my own nature. And recently I have been going through topics one by one on the things that I learnt. And I recently just came back from a cruise. I did a cruise up around Cairns and Port Douglas at the top of Australia. And I noticed things there and I noticed people on board, and I just thought it was a very interesting topic of bringing this up again. I may have covered it once before, but on the topic of being brave about being on your own and taking that first step of courage, which is so important when you're in a situation like I was in domestic violence. I had a decision I had to make about helping myself, helping my children, and making that first step to get out. And the bravest thing to do was to actually come to that decision and be courageous enough to take that step. In domestic violence, it's one of the most dangerous times. It's the time when a lot of people get killed. They get killed because of taking that step their partner cannot handle, the fact that they're losing control and power over you. So they, quite often, a lot of homicides happen this way, and it's the most crucial time to be careful and cautious in everything that you do, to watch everything going around you, and also taking that step is a good thing to, when you move out and you eventually get out, to go to a place where they're not going to find you. And I actually didn't do this. I went to my parents' place and he started to really stalk me and started to follow me and follow my car, tried to run me off the road. He did all sorts of things in that respect, but this was the first time to really be cautious and watch every step and look over your shoulder. And this particular thing happened to me, and I was stalked for quite a few years after that. I think about 4 or 5 years after I left him, I was stalked. So I was looking over my shoulder for a long time until he was killed himself in a fight. Anyway, but the topic I wanted to talk about today was about taking that step and being brave, making a brave decision for yourself. One of the hardest things to do if you've been a victim of domestic violence is being able to make decisions and be brave enough to do anything, because for so long you've been enclosed in your environment and in your home and been dominated and had that thumb put on your head for so long with so many restrictions, you get to the point where it becomes a habit form for you. And so therefore trying to make a decision for yourself is quite a large task to be able to do. And as I was saying, I recently went on a cruise and I was taking note of these things, and one thing that struck me, the very first thing that struck me, was there was somebody who was actually locked up in the brig in the bottom of the ship because he assaulted somebody, and I'm assuming it was his partner, and which was a really awful thing for that poor person who went on there to have a lovely holiday to experience this, and this was only 2 days into the cruise, and they ended up kicking him off at Port Douglas. But I was thinking about this, and also I actually bumped into another person. She'd actually come on the cruise with her brother's boyfriend, actually, so they were sharing a cabin, and I noticed how nervy she was. She joined me at one of the tables. We were watching one of the entertainment programs of the afternoon, and I noticed her looking over her shoulder. She's looking around all the time, and she was quite on edge, and I asked her if she was all right, and she actually told me her story. She'd come onto the cruise with her brother's boyfriend, and she had actually arranged the cruise and all the money, and he'd been spending the money and given her a lot of grief, and she was having a really bad time on the cruise. And the advice that I gave to her was, well, it's a big ship. You're here for a holiday, you're here to enjoy yourself. Go somewhere and enjoy yourself. Take your mind off this man. Go somewhere and enjoy yourself. You may have to share a cabin, but there's no reason why you can't enjoy the rest of your time. Go and enjoy one of the things. Even though you're on your own, it doesn't matter. There's lots of beautiful people on this ship that you can talk to. And it occurred to me how hard this is for a lot of people to be able to step out and do things on their own. And if you are the type of insecure person, it is very hard to make that decision. Sometimes it's a hard thing to decide to wear a dress. You may have bought a dress, but you may be too frightened to get into that dress and wear it out in public. Or there's many other people I've known who are too insecure to go to the movies on their own or go somewhere else on their own. And with every insecure thing that we go through in insecurity, it's important to be able to realise that it isn't scary to do these things, and the only thing that's holding you back is your fear. If you can face that fear head on and look it straight in the eye and say, well, I'm in control. The fear is not in control of me. I am in control of my fear. And the thing is, if you can do one baby step at a time, you can eventually overcome these things. Another biggie is people being frightened to be on their own as far as a single person. That there's many people out there, they feel that they have this need that they have to have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, that they're going to be looked down upon, or they're going to be a lesser of a person if they don't have a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a wife or a husband. And this isn't the case. It's not the case at all. In fact, quite often you'll find if you've got a boyfriend or a girlfriend, sometimes half the time you're going to have more issues in this world. You're going to have problems with money, you're going to have emotional tug of wars going on, you're going to have domestic tug of wars going on, then there's clashes of nature. Not everybody is the same, everybody's different, and sometimes you need to learn tolerance and patience for another person. And the thing is, being on your own is not a scary thing. It can be quite peaceful, even if you're feeling lonely. You may be feeling lonely, but You can go out and find friends. You can go out and do things for yourself. Do fun things for yourself. Do these type of things, because it doesn't make you a lesser person if you don't have somebody. In fact, you can learn a lot from looking at other people and seeing their struggles. You know, sometimes you can think, oh, why am I the one left behind? And I used to think this. And in the end, it got me in a lot of trouble. I thought that I was a woman left on the shelf with a child. And all I did was dream about having a husband, because I thought that I was a lesser person because of this. And I did. I got a husband. So I got what I wanted, but it certainly didn't make me happy. It gave me many, many years of hardship and struggle, and it certainly, I felt like a ship in a very rough sea being battered around for so many years. And all I needed to do was have acceptance of myself, have acceptance that I was just as good as everybody else, and I didn't need another person to fulfill me. All I needed was fulfillment in myself. And out of going through all these years of struggle, I learned that making that first step, that brave step of deciding enough was enough. I'd had enough physical, mental and emotional abuse of myself and my children, and making that decision, that first decision, that brave decision to step out and leave, was one of the best things I ever did. And I went from strength to strength after that, just by making that first little baby step. And this is what I'm saying today. You know, you need to make a brave decision for yourself. If you're that type of person where you're frightened to go out on your own, you're frightened to do things on your own, make that little baby step. What's the worst thing that can happen? The worst thing that can happen is not trying in the beginning, so not taking that step. And I know with myself, I had many opportunities in life, but I was always too frightened to do them. I was too frightened to walk through that door. These days, the way I consider it is, if an opportunity arises, I'm going to leap through that door. I'm going to leap through with open arms. And this is the way I consider opportunities these days. So if you're struggling in yourself, take baby steps. And my advice to you is do something brave for yourself at least once a week. I also got this advice from a very dear friend also. So I started to do the same thing. I started to make a brave decision for myself. Every week I did something brave for myself, and little by little I did gain security. Anyway, that was about all I wanted to speak on today, and I hope everybody has a lovely week, and I'll be seeing you again very soon. Bye.